we hustle, but the night we
know that the ride or die.
Welcome to the House of the Princess.
I keep boys by my seat. Know that the ride or die.
I'm 50% righteous, 50% ratchet.
we hustle, but the night
Boys by my seat. Know that the ride or die. My name came up a lot, it sounds more when
Thank
I
y'all
was not
for joining
around.
us.
Certain people that I know.
Welcome to the House of the Princess's secondary channel. Princess A.V. tried it. How are you doing today? I hope that this video reaches you well and in good spirits. Well, today I am reviewing Bel Air. That is a brand new series brought to you by Peacock channel. And it is a remake and a reboot of The Fresh Prince of Bel Air. Of course, many of us know about The Fresh Prince, and I know a lot of you are probably thinking like, no remakes, like leave stuff alone, come up with your own original ideas. I know that I'm a person like that. I get tired of everybody doing a reboot or a remake, but this was mostly a reimagination. And honestly, I meant to watch the concept video before doing this video, but as I'm talking, I reminded me that it slipped my mind to do so. So what happened is during the pandemic, producer Morgan Cooper, he came up with a concept video of what if The Fresh Prince of Bel Air was made differently? What if it was a drama? So he made a short film or a short, it's called a short, and put it up on the internet, and it actually went viral. And it went viral and was so popular that it did catch the eye of executive producer Will Smith, who is also known as the original Fresh Prince and as a rapper, and he was the Fresh Prince of Bel Air. So, you know, of course, it had to do great in order to catch his eye. So the crowd was also pleased with the concept that in turn, this man got his big break from what he said was a vision that he had while he was driving and going to the gas station, and boom, here we are in 2022 with the premiere of Bel Air. If you need to know where to find Bel Air, it is on the Peacock network. You can get it through an app, or if you have a streaming service like Hulu, anything like that, and if you have the Xfinity Flex box, you can find the Peacock app. Also, you can get Peacock Premium, I believe. If you still have Xfinity, they're still giving away premium access to the Peacock channel as well. But Peacock is free. You can download it or have the premium version for $4.99. And I believe there's another version for $9.99 if I'm not mistaken. But I have the $4.99 that Xfinity gave me for free. And we runs with that, okay? So you will be able to see this on Sunday, February 13th, 2022. I'm assuming it's going to be there after the Super Bowl, maybe. But yeah, Super Bowl Sunday. You can also watch Bel Air. Not to be confused with The Fresh Prince of Bel Air, but it's simply called Bel Air. And it is starring a gorgeous cast. I must say, the cast is popping, okay? And I'm going to see if I actually should share my screen with and let y'all see how good this cast looks, okay? It's a gorgeous cast. The problem with some of us who grew up in the 90s and grew up with the original Fresh Prince of Bel Air cast is you kind of can't let go of those archetypes and the characters that you are so used to seeing versus the new characters that they have on Bel Air. They don't fit the same archetype, the body types, none of that. But what you have to realize is this is not 1991. This is not 1996. This is 2022. And this is what fits the genre, the audience, and the times that we're in now. Because I know the biggest thing that people are saying is Uncle Phil is not fat. No, he's not, but he surely is fine. Okay, so Will Smith is played by a young man named Jabari Banks. Okay, and I think that he does an excellent job in creating the character of Will Smith in Bel Air. I like that in these episodes, in this series, the first episode does a lot of character development and character building. And there are some things about the Fresh Prince that you never really thought of, at least I didn't, that made you come back and say, oh, wait a minute. Why did that happen? Okay, so what they did is they started off in Philadelphia, who is born and raised. They actually take you to Philadelphia. They let you see the streets of Philadelphia. They let you experience him eating a cheesesteak, doing things that Philadelphians do on a day-to-day basis. And it really took you there. And I appreciated that we were able to see the life that Will came from before he came to Bel Air. Because in the Fresh Prince version, he just was in Bel Air. We never really saw him go back to Philly, except for that one episode when he found his dad and went back for that weekend. And, that was that. But it lets you start off in Philadelphia. And it gave you a realistic vision of what it would be like in today's time for a young man to be trying to get out of the hood. They brought you to the hood. They gave you hood antidotes, and why and how he got into the fight on the basketball court in a realistic sense of why you would send your child away to another state. He got into it, and it would have cost him his life if he stayed. Also, you see his friends, and Will Smith in this episode, he's a big fish in a small pond. At least that's what I feel like. And look, let me put a little background music on here for you. I don't even know what the music started, but I forgot. We're going to try it, okay? I forgot. StreamYard has a new thing that we could do. So let me give you a little ambiance, okay? So in the meantime, you see this whole world that Will lives in, and they bring you into it, and you see he's this basketball star, the girls loving on him, and you get to see also a relationship with his mother and to see how they relate to each other. So that was good to see, because you don't see a relationship with his mother much in the 90s version. So the character development is very good. Then suddenly he has to be shipped off to Bel Air. And I never really remembered that he did not know Phil and Vivian in the pilot episode of Fresh Prince of Bel Air. And they brought that to you again in this episode. I haven't talked to them in years. I don't know them. And we never think about, why doesn't he know his family? They're rich, he poor. Why aren't they helping each other? That kind of situation. So they bring that to the forefront. He goes to Bel Air, and the song. I was in the back of the cab, and I was like, hey, the cab driver is Jazz. So they found a way to introduce Jazz into this episode versus we meet Jazz. I don't know. I would have to go back and watch all the episodes to realize, how did Jazz become his friend? So they made sense of the friendships and the relationships that were brought into that. And so in that, in turn, they build you learning how he got to LA, the background of LA. They brought the ambiance, and they brought the cityscapes to it, so you could see LA as well. And I do like, at least for right now, Jazz got a little bit more sense than he had in the 90s version. And that is played by Jordan Jones, or Jordan L. Jones. And he's a cutie guy. Let me tell you, everybody in these episodes is fine, okay? They're kind of hot, okay? And it's some showing off melanin in this cast. So he's there in Bel Air. He makes it to the house. He meets Aunt Viv, and Aunt Viv is played by Cassandra Freeman. I like her, but she's not necessarily, at least in the episode that I saw, she's not giving what it needs to be gave. And again, that because we're used to the archetypes that what we once had in the 1990s version. I would say she's a middle ground between the original Aunt Viv, Mrs. Hubert, versus what's her name, Tim. I done forgot the lady's name. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I know she's Tim, what you call his wife, okay? And I can't think of their last name. I'm sorry. I'll think about it later. But look, this is a real show, so I'll have brain farts, but I'm gonna have to look it up. Between the old Viv and the new Viv, okay? All right. And she's like a middle ground, but I do like the militant version of Aunt Viv. We have Janet Hubert versus, it's on the tip of my tongue. Yeah, let's see. Aunt Viv actresses. Daphne Maxwell Reid. I should be ashamed myself because she is a legend in her own right. Tim Reed's wife. Actor also known, one of his famous WKRP and Sister. Okay, so she's been known for a lot of things. I think Daphne Maxwell Reed's character was a lot softer, and she only spoke when needed to be spoken. Versus Janet Hubert's character was very, outspoken. That's why they deemed her as the angry black woman. Well, Cassandra Freeman, I think she's in the middle of that. As an actress, I do know that she has the capabilities of being strong, but I'm really looking to see what she's going to come up with in this season. And it's only the first episode, so we have to wait to see what she's going to give. Then, well, before she even meets Vivian, Vivian's the first family member that he met. But at the door, he meets Jeffrey. And let me tell you, Jeffrey got that accent and he is fine. But instead of him being the butler, they introduce him as the house manager. And he is known as, his name is Jimmy Akingbola. Okay. So you, like I said, you have a lot of this authentic melanin running on down. Baby, his beard was greased and it was nice and toned. Okay. And then he's the house manager, and of course Will is not familiar with these types of things. The art in the house was beautiful. It really represented black pride. You could see that they were intent on the ambiance and the decorations that they put in the house this time. The house was beautiful. Then he meets Hillary. Hillary's character is played by Coco Jones. Okay. Coco Jones is a young lady. She looks pretty. They give you a different feel on Hillary. In the 90s, she was known as an airhead, and I had to think about, in the 90s, there was a formula for comedies, and you had to have somebody had to be the dodo bird, which was Jazz and Hillary. Like, it was a middle ground, and then there was a strong character. It was a formula. But this time, she didn't have to be that. They actually gave Hillary some depth. And I just thought that was interesting, that they gave her some depth. And she had a purpose, but she still is the same shallow Hillary that we would expect. The only difference is it was brought up to 2022. Okay, so after that, I'm looking at my notes. Okay, he's introduced to Uncle Phil, and you say the dynamic there is a very sensitive dynamic. They're having a party. He's introduced to the friends, and he does and says some things to make you want to side eye him, like, child. All I could do it. Okay. So aside from that, then he meets Carlton. And there's the kicker. Carlton is nothing like you would expect. They really given Carlton a lot of depth. They went a different direction with Carlton. He's not as cheesy as he was before, okay? He's very arrogant. That's a fact. He has nuances of the old Carlton, but he's very much a new Carlton, an updated version of Carlton. And I think he's going to be a major player and a major affectation in this series. Now, Carlton is played by Ali Sholoton. Okay, I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly. I'm so sorry. Okay. What was that for? Sorry, y'all. Ali Sholoton plays Carlton. So he's a nice looking young man, and he plays his part with authority, okay? And the challenge to Will Smith's character, and also the balance that he's going to give Will Smith's character. I can dig it. It's different again, but different is not necessarily bad. It's a different that we just have to get used to. Okay. I'm excited to see the dynamic between Will and Carlton and how they're going to forge their friendship, them being relatives, what is going to happen in the future in the episode. Their exchange during the episode is, let me tell you, it's dynamic, okay? That's all I can say without giving it away. I'm excited to see what the series will bring. There are some things that happen during the episode. Race relations is already brought up. It's a lot of things that young people deal with in 2022 that they weren't dealing with in 1990, but they were. But the way they have to deal with it is something totally different than what we did in the 90s. So they brought the bridge across that, okay, these were problems then, but it's not necessarily not a problem now. We just deal with it different. We see it different, but especially racism, it's definitely still a problem. But before I go into those last little quips about the episode, we have he meets Ashley. Ashley still young and cute, a preteen, but it was a part in the episode that I thought was really cute where she told Will, you can order anything you want, and he realizes that, oh, these people is rich, okay? And he thought he wasn't going to be able to just get anything he wanted, but naturally he orders a Philly cheesesteak, and within 10 seconds they have it ready for him. And in turn, that introduces a new character, Lisa. And I'm not going to tell you the kicker about her, but she is a new character. It looks as if she may be Will's love interest, but we have to see the way it goes. And Lisa is a mainstay on the show. Her name is Simone Joy Jones, okay? And also, I forgot to tell you, Ashley Banks is played by Akira Akbar. Uncle Phil is played by Adrian Holmes. So I'm just going to get all them names out the way. All them good old black people, black melanin. Okay. I do like Simone's character represents for the plus size girls. Okay. Back in the day, only person that was plus size on them episodes was Queen Latifah. And you know what they did to her. He had to ostracize her during the episode before he realized that he actually liked her. So during this series, we don't have to go with that. Representation matters. You can see that was in the forefront of this series. In the very first episode, you can see that the representation was important for them to convey during this series, okay? But there is a lot of conflict. I said that Carlton is arrogant, but he's also a hater, so to speak. And I'm gonna say I can see him being the head manipulator in this show, but I'm not sure, okay? But I'm just gonna tell you, Carlton will surprise you during this episode, okay? But all in all, in the Fresh Prince episode, you see that Will is uncomfortable, but he does things to fit in, or he learns to fit in. In Bel Air, Will's just straight up not appreciative of his environment, doesn't want to be there. He wants to go home. And you see that exchange with him and Jazz. You see the exchange with him and Uncle Phil. And it really helps develop the character between him and Uncle Phil, and draws the line in the sand of their relationships. And you start to see in how their relationships form, and they're going to get to know one another. You also get to see the background between Phil and Viv to start to explain why they may or may not have talked to Will, which is very, very important. Then they do some more character development with Hillary, and they have breakfast, and you get to see them all just kind of in their bag and start to talk about how they're moving and what they're going to do as a unit, going to school, going to parties, what they want to do in the future. And I found it in this episode, in this series, Bel Air, Jeffrey seems to be more part of the family than Jeffrey was in the Fresh Prince of Bel Air. Yes, Jeffrey was a part of the family, and he had a mouth on him. I don't know if this Jeffrey is going to have a mouth on him. I hope he does, because I live for the drags that Jeffrey would give on the Fresh Prince of Bel Air. So I hope that this Jeffrey, along with looks and his swagger is off the meter, that he has, a quick wit about him as well in this episode. But they embrace him more as a regular person versus just a butler or a house manager. So I do see that difference in between the two. Like I said, we've talked about Lisa. I have some notes here, and I just don't want to give them all away because I want you to watch the show. And another little note that I do have is there are a lot of Easter eggs in this show that will remind you of Fresh Prince of Bel Air in the 1990s. If you were a watcher of that show, they do give nods to the original 90s show with the fashion. You got to look for cross colors, different sayings. There is a bridge between both shows. So essentially, an old head like me would have a tendency not to like the show. A lot of people don't want to give it a chance, but I'm saying give it a chance. You may or may not like it, but I think that as a person who loves Fresh Prince of Bel Air, who every Monday I went to watch the episode, I ran to my TV to watch the episodes, a person that still may watch an episode of Fresh Prince of Bel Air. It is iconic. It was life-changing. There is no duplicating it. But I can still appreciate Bel Air for what it is. I'm telling you, what you need to do is just leave Fresh Prince of Bel Air where it is, and as they say in the show, take up your crown, that rightfully belongs to you. Take Bel Air for what it is. It's a drama. It's a spin on an old concept of a character, and they've made it into a whole new show. Now, what I will say is that there are a lot of younger people in the show, so it may be a younger person's show. It may be geared to that, that dynamic, that demographic. I'm sorry. So that may be why some people are not into it. But I think that they kept it right there at that line that an older person can appreciate it and the younger people can like it. So I do appreciate the show. I do like it. I'm excited to see where this goes. Hopefully these Black people can do the damn thing, and we'll see that the script writing is great. I will tell you that the soundtrack and the song choice and the continuity of the show is excellent. They put that music in there and they know where to put it in, and that is an art in itself. The music is good. It's reminiscent of Issa Rae's show, Insecure. Insecure has a great soundtrack, and so does Bel Air. Now, some of the songs you already know, but even where they place the songs, it's done great. So, look, Bel Air comes out Sunday, Sunday. Super Bowl Sunday, February 13th, 2022. It is on the Peacock network. Live stream it whenever you want to. Go and watch it, even if you're reluctant. Give it a chance and support these Black people doing magnificent things, okay? I would give it, right now, I give it 5 stars, okay? I give it 5 stars, 5 crowns, because I was pleasantly surprised about the content, and I was reluctant. But I watched it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the character development. I enjoyed the variety and the change of what they were doing. They just didn't take it and redo it. They gave you something totally different that you weren't expecting. So go watch Bel Air, not Fresh Prince of Bel Air, but just Bel Air, starring Jabari Banks, on the Peacock channel this Sunday, February 13th, 2022. Now, my name is Princess A.V. Don't forget to like this video. Please, it's a brand new channel. Subscribe to the channel. Also, subscribe to House of Princess. But you're here, Princess A.V. tried it. Like the channel, okay? And also subscribe. Subscribe to the channel and like the video, all right? I'm going to get it together one of these days. I appreciate everybody who comes to watch. My name is Princess A.V. And now it's time for me to turn out the lights. Good night.